There was a time when your attention was yours. A time when your thoughts were not interrupted every few seconds. A time when your focus could stretch, long, deep, undisturbed, like a calm ocean. But now, your mind feels like a browser with too many tabs open, buzzing, scattered, constantly searching. But for what? You do not even know anymore. You scroll, you swipe, you click, endlessly. Not because you are curious, but because you are anxious. Not because you want more, but because you are numb without it. You see, your attention is not just a mental resource. It is your life force. It is the gatekeeper of your energy, your emotions, your identity. What you give your attention to becomes your world. And the world knows it. Entire platforms, industries, and algorithms are built around one thing: owning your gaze. Not just for a second, but forever. Because if they can hijack your focus, they can hijack your beliefs, your emotions, your decisions, your future. And that is exactly what is happening. You think you're in control because you choose what to click. But what you never notice is that the environment is choosing what you see, what to feel, when to feel it, how long to feel it for, and when to move on to the next thing, before you ever get the chance to process the last one. You are not addicted to your phone. You are addicted to the way it steals you from yourself. Because stillness, it feels unbearable now. Silence, it feels threatening. And boredom, it feels like failure. But why? Because you have been trained, not taught trained, to equate stimulation with meaning. If something is loud, colorful, fast, viral, it must matter. If something is slow, quiet, uncomfortable, it must be useless. But that is a lie. The deepest thoughts, the biggest breakthroughs, the rarest clarity, they all happen in boredom. They all happen in slowness. They all happen when you finally unplug from the noise and come back to the only space that was ever real, your mind. But most people never make it there, because attention is now currency, and you are giving yours away for free. Every scroll is a transaction. Every tap is an investment. Every second you spend consuming someone else's life is a second stolen from building your own. And the price you pay? It is not just time. It is your peace, your presence, your power. Because here is the uncomfortable truth. The more distracted you are, the easier you are to control. A mind that cannot focus cannot think deeply. A mind that cannot be still cannot make wise decisions. A mind that is constantly reacting never questions what it is reacting to. That is not just a side effect. That is the design. They do not want you still. They do not want you present. They want you reactive, overstimulated, uncertain, because a distracted person is a dependent one. And dependency sells. It sells products. It sells opinions. It sells identities. And eventually, it sells you. So ask yourself, where is your attention going? Who profits from it? And most importantly, what is it costing you? Because in this world, you do not lose your life all at once. You lose it, notification by notification, dopamine hit by dopamine hit, moment by stolen moment, until you forget how to think your own thoughts. You cannot create in chaos. You cannot heal in noise. And you cannot become who you are meant to be in a world that is constantly trying to pull your attention in every direction, but inward. What they have taken from you is not just your time. It is your ability to be present in your own life. You watch content about self-love, but forget to love yourself. You scroll through clips of transformation, but cannot sit still long enough to transform. You save thousands of quotes about healing, but never hear your own thoughts long enough to know what needs to be healed. And it is not your fault. You are not broken. You are not lazy. You are not weak. You are overwhelmed, overstimulated, and silently drained from the constant mental tug-of-war between your attention and your intention. Because attention is not passive, it is active. Where it flows, energy goes. If you give it to negativity, it grows. If you give it to distraction, it multiplies. If you give it away freely, you slowly vanish. Your relationships suffer. Your creativity dries up. Your confidence gets chipped away, not in a dramatic crash, but in a slow erosion. You do not even notice it happening. You just start feeling tired. Tired for no reason. Restless even after sleeping. Disconnected even around people. Empty even when your life looks full. This is not burnout. This is spiritual malnutrition. You are feeding your brain with noise, but starving your soul of stillness. And the cost is not just clarity. It is identity. Because here is what most people forget. You cannot know who you are if you are always tuned into who everyone else is. You cannot find your voice when it is drowned beneath the voices of 1,000 strangers. You cannot follow your path if your attention is constantly being hijacked by trends, drama, and noise. This is the psychological trap. Every time you give away your focus, you surrender a piece of your agency. Every time you react to something unworthy of your energy, you trade power for distraction. And over time, that trade becomes your habit. You no longer ask, do I want this in my mind? You just let it in. You let the anger in, the gossip, the fear, the chaos, the comparison. You let it all in until your mind is no longer a safe place to live. This is not just mental clutter. It is spiritual sabotage. You are not just distracted. You are disconnected from your depth, from your values, from your original self. And it all starts with attention, because attention is a doorway. And whatever you give it to, you invite in. So what are you letting through the door? Be honest. Do you spend more time watching others live than actually living? Do you check your phone before you check in with yourself? Do you feel empty when there is no stimulation? As if silence is something to escape instead of something to enter? Because that silence is where your real life begins. The version of you that you are looking for. The focused one, the grounded one, the powerful one, does not exist in a scroll. It exists in the space between distractions. It exists when you unplug, when you breathe, when you finally listen. Because if you never stop consuming, you will never start creating. If you never turn down the volume of the outside world, you will never hear the whispers of your own wisdom. The world is loud, but you do not have to be part of its noise. You can step back. You can slow down. You can reclaim your gaze, your mind, your moment. It begins with awareness, not a radical transformation, not a 30-day detox. Just this, become aware of where your attention is going, because what you focus on becomes your life. And if your life feels off track, it is not always because you are failing. It is often because your attention has been quietly stolen. One tap, one scroll, one distraction at a time. But now you know. And that awareness, that is the beginning of freedom. So how do you take it back? How do you reclaim your attention when the world has spent years training you to give it away without question? You start small, not by deleting everything, not by running into the woods and throwing away your phone. You start by noticing. where your eyes go, where your energy drops, where you feel triggered, where you feel numb, what you click on when you're bored, what you crave when you're uncomfortable. Because every craving is a compass, and most of your distractions are just poorly disguised coping mechanisms. You are not checking your phone because you are curious. You are checking it because you're trying to escape something. Maybe a feeling, maybe silence, maybe the fear of being with yourself for more than 5 minutes. But that feeling you are avoiding, that is where your growth lives. That is where your real power starts to wake up. Because when you finally stop running, you begin to feel. And when you feel, you begin to think clearly again. You begin to remember who you are. Your mind is not a battleground. It is a sacred place. A place where your ideas are born, where your dreams take shape, where your deepest values live. But when your attention is scattered, you never visit that place. You live outside yourself, reacting, scrolling, comparing, repeating. You become passive and call it living. But you are not meant to be passive. You are meant to direct, to lead, to choose where your energy flows, to decide what gets space in your mind. Because your attention is not just a resource, it is your vote. It is a declaration of what matters. Every time you give it to something, you are saying, "This is worth my life force." And not everything is. Some things are noise. Some things are poison. Some things are theft disguised as entertainment. But you do not have to keep handing it over. You can unsubscribe from the chaos. You can stop consuming things that make you feel small. You can protect your peace with the same urgency you protect your bank account. Because your focus is more valuable than your money. Why? Because your money can be replaced. Your time cannot. And the currency of your time is your attention. So make it sacred. Choose slowness over speed, depth over distraction, real conversations over virtual noise, long walks over endless scrolling, books over reels, presence over performance. You are not here to be a consumer. You are here to be a creator of thoughts, of actions, of a life that actually belongs to you. But that life begins the moment you stop handing your attention to everything that does not deserve it. You reclaim it. You defend it. You rebuild your inner world, brick by brick, breath by breath. It will be uncomfortable at first. Your mind will twitch for stimulation. Your hands will reach for your phone like a reflex. You will feel the ache of withdrawal. But wait, pause. Let the silence stretch. Let your thoughts land. Let your mind come home to itself. And soon, the fog will begin to clear. The anxiety will quiet down. And the thoughts that rise will actually be yours. Not recycled, not algorithm-fed, not a reflection of whatever is trending. Yours. This is the gift of attention. Not just that it creates your world, but that you get to choose what kind of world it creates. You are not lost. You are distracted. And when you remove what is stealing your focus, what is meant for you will finally have space to appear. So ask yourself, who could you become if your attention fully belonged to you? That is not just a question. It is a revolution.